deserve this. Her kids will miss her, her sisters, her brother, her dad, her mom. Her life was cut short, but the children still are here. They still got to be provided for.
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Faith Jesse.
And I'm Jennifer Bellamy. Tonight, Atlanta police are investigating after a mother was killed this week near Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta. Now, this is the victim. She's Courtney Reese. Tonight, her family is devastated, and as her family is already dealing with another loss. Her sister, also a victim of gun violence just months ago.
A quiet neighborhood where families felt safe, where children played outside, where people trusted their neighbors. That night, at approximately 9 p.m., a Ring camera mounted on a neighbor's porch captured something no one should ever have to witness. 32-year-old Courtney Reese, a mother of 4, stood outside her home. She was begging for her life. The footage is disturbing. You can hear her voice. You can hear her desperation. And then gunfire. 10 shots. Not 1, not 2, 10. But here's what makes this even more horrifying. The shooter's gun jammed during the attack. Most people would stop. Most people would run. Derek Rankins didn't. He cleared the jam and kept firing. Even after Courtney collapsed to the ground, he continued pulling the trigger. Inside the house, her 3 daughters and son heard every single shot. Courtney Reese wasn't just a victim in a news report. She was a woman known for her vibrant personality. She loved her children fiercely. She was rebuilding her life after ending her relationship with Derek Rankins. Trying to move forward despite unimaginable grief her family was already facing. The Ring camera captured it all. Her final moments, her pleas, the violence, the cold calculation of a man who refused to let her live. But why? What would drive someone to execute the mother of his children in front of her own home? The answer lies in a Facebook post. A secret Derek had been hiding. A truth Courtney decided the world needed to know. After their breakup, Courtney discovered Derek had been living a double life, involved in same-sex relationships he kept hidden from everyone. Hurt, angry, and perhaps wanting him to feel the same exposure and pain she felt, she posted about on Facebook. His secret was no longer his to control. And that's when everything went deadly. What would you do if someone exposed your deepest secret to the world? How far would you go to protect your hidden life? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this is your first time on this channel, hit that subscribe button. We cover the true crime cases that demand to be heard. What happened after those 10 shots rang out? How did police track down Derek Rankins? And what made this tragedy even more heartbreaking for Courtney's family? Stay with me. What you're about to hear will leave you speechless.
Also developing tonight, a violent end to the search for a gunman who killed an Atlanta mother. And today, an Atlanta police officer was shot while serving a warrant for that murder suspect in Henry County.
That's right. So what we do know is that the officer is expected to survive. That suspect is dead. And through it all, Courtney Reese's family, they are mourning her loss. Reese was just 32 years old. She had 3 daughters and an 11-year-old son. 1 week ago, she was shot and killed on Springside Drive, that's south of Cleveland Avenue. And the investigation into her murder, it led the Southeastern Fugitive Task Force to a home in Stockbridge today. Atlanta police say when they arrived, the suspect here, Derek Rankins, started shooting. An officer was hit in the arm. Rankins died during this standoff. But police have not yet said if he took his own life or if he was killed. And today, Courtney's father is speaking out, saying that while he doesn't wish harm on anyone, he's glad that Rankins won't be a danger to anyone else. We do know that a homegoing service for Courtney is set for this Thursday in Decatur.
With breaking news out of Henry County, an Atlanta police officer shot while serving a warrant with the U.S. Marshals.
That's right. And in the last few hours, we've learned that the suspect, who is now dead, was wanted by APD for the recent killing to a mother of 4 children. 32-year-old Courtney Reese was shot multiple times last week along Springside Drive in southeast Atlanta. This shooting captured on a nearby Ring doorbell camera, and it showed that suspect firing at least 10 shots even after Reese collapsed. Well, in the past hour, Reese's father told 11 Alive that he doesn't wish death upon anyone, but said, quote, "This was the best outcome because this guy was a danger to others while on the run."
We have live team coverage for you tonight. Molly Oak is live from the scene in Henry County with more on what led to this turn of events. But we're going to kick things off with Joe Ripley outside Grady Hospital. So, Joe, do we know the officer's condition right now?
Yes, we understand. According to Atlanta Police Chief Darren Shearbaum, the Atlanta police officer shot while helping to execute the search warrant in Stockbridge is currently getting treatment after he was shot in the arm. He is expected to be okay, though. We did see a number of law enforcement show up here to pay their respects and show solidarity in supporting this officer as he recovers. It was an 18-year APD veteran, Shearbaum said, that was sent here to Grady Hospital, flown by a Henry County Sheriff's Office helicopter. This, of course, is all tied to a search warrant in Henry County. A regional task force led by U.S. Marshals executed the search warrant this morning in Stockbridge for Derek Rankins. He is the man accused of shooting and killing Courtney Reese 1 week ago near Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta. Reese was a mother of 4. She was just 32 years old, shot at least 10 times. She had lost her sister just months before that. Police say they identified Rankins as a suspect, and tonight Chief Shearbaum says Rankins is dead after an hours-long standoff.
This is what we train for. We recruit men and women who have a quality to stand in the gap for their communities. We train weekly and regularly to make sure when an individual who poses harm to community doesn't want to go back to jail, that we can do so with the least risk to the citizens in the area.
And tonight, Shearbaum says no other officers were injured throughout this search warrant execution. It's still unclear tonight, though, whether Rankins shot himself or whether officers fired and shot and killed him. The GBI still has that under investigation. We're live outside Grady Hospital in Atlanta. Joe Ripley, 11 Alive News.
All right, Joe, thanks a lot. By the way, 11 Alive's Molly Oak continuing our team coverage live from Henry County. And Molly, dozens of law enforcement officers have been on the scene for most of the afternoon.
Yeah, Ron, when we first got out to the scene hours ago, law enforcement was just covering this neighborhood. And while their presence has definitely dwindled, I want you to take a look at this video from the scene earlier. They have been focused on a home off Linden Lane in the Swan Lake subdivision in Henry County. Now, Atlanta Police Department says APD's fugitive unit, Georgia State Patrol, and the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force were serving a warrant out of Atlanta. And that's when an Atlanta police officer was shot and hospitalized. Now, we know multiple agencies responded to this shooting because from our initial vantage point, we saw Henry County Police, Henry County Sheriff, Clayton County Sheriff, Fulton County Sheriff, GBI, and Georgia State Patrol all on scene.
And then more and more cars kept coming, and I finally found where everything was, and then I got stuck, and come to find out, my wife was looking it up online, trying to find out what was going on. Next thing we found out, it was serving a murder warrant, and the marshal got shot, and luckily he's going to come to find out he's going to be okay, but.
As you can see from that crime scene behind me, still an active scene, even with that law enforcement kind of dying down just a bit. But we'll keep you updated as the investigation continues out here in Henry County. For now, reporting live, Molly Oak, 11 Alive News.
All right, Molly, thanks a lot for the update there.
Investigative reporter Zach Merchant joining us live now. So, Zach, we're learning more about what's happening with these law enforcement officers. What more can you tell us tonight?
Well, tonight we're talking about the Southeast Regional Fugitive Task Force. It is led by the U.S. Marshals Service, but it includes law enforcement officers from lots of different local agencies, including APD. And tonight we spoke with Thaddeus Johnson. He's a GSU criminology professor. He's also a former law enforcement officer, and he says that task force specializes in a particular kind of work.
When they get involved, either it's a very high risk warrant that they're serving, or it's very complicated, has a lot of moving parts where you need to tactically coordinate where you can hit these places at certain times so people can't be tipped off, so you can bring people to justice.
You know, Zach, this is very difficult for law enforcement officers on the scene. You talked to Johnson about the risk of being an officer in that situation. What did you learn?
His answer sort of came in two parts, and you've got to remember he's a law enforcement vet himself. Yeah. He says from a purely statistical perspective, even when serving warrants for serious charges, it is uncommon for a law enforcement officer to be hurt, but he also said every time officers serve a felony warrant like this, where the suspect could be facing many years behind bars if convicted, the potential for something to go wrong is a lot higher than during most other police activities.
Absolutely, especially if the suspect's behind the door. You can't see what's going on there. So thanks a lot for that perspective.
We appreciate it, Zach. Thank you so much. And all of you at home can stay with our continuing coverage at 11alive.com.
Developing tonight, trying to hold on to the happy moments while working through their grief after a mother of 4 was shot and killed on Tuesday night.
Now the community is rallying around the family of 32-year-old Courtney Reese. 11 Alive's Angelina Salcido joining us live tonight from Atlanta Police Headquarters. And Angelina, you spoke with many of those who knew and loved Courtney.
And this is the very first time that we are hearing from them. Her younger sister tells me that she was vibrant and she always kept a smile on her face. Courtney shot and killed in Atlanta just months after one of her sisters was shot and killed in DeKalb. Tonight, this family tells me neither one of them deserved to die this way.
She was a vibe, the life of the party.
Her infectious smile is keeping her grieving family's spirit high.
She was everybody's hype man. She was everybody's cook.
Courtney Reese remembered tonight with purple balloons, music, and love.
It's a party. It's a celebration like she would have had any other day.
Lena is Courtney's older sister.
She didn't deserve this. Her kids will miss her. Her sisters, her brother, her dad, her mom.
The 32-year-old shot 10 times at this home along Springside Drive, south of Cleveland Avenue, Tuesday night. Flowers are now in the place she took her last breath. In a video too graphic to play, Courtney pleads with someone before shots are fired. That person ran away. No arrests have been made.
Her life was cut short, but the children still are here. They still got to be provided for.
Courtney leaves behind 3 girls, just 13, 9, and 6 years old, and an 11-year-old son.
She was a great mother, and we want them to have everything that we knew that she was going to do for them.
Their life is her legacy.
Courtney was joy. She was love. She was a protector. She was, a provider.
Now, Atlanta police still investigating this case. They really want anybody from the community that has valuable information, saw or heard anything, to submit tips to them. Meanwhile, this family is working to provide for Courtney's kids. They're also trying to plan her funeral. We have a link to how you can help them in this story on our website. We're live tonight in Atlanta. Angelina Salcido, 11 Alive News.
The Ring camera footage left no doubt about who pulled the trigger. Police identified Derek Rankins immediately, but he wasn't planning to face justice. Derek fled the scene and made his way to Stockbridge, Georgia, about 30 miles south of Atlanta. Law enforcement tracked him down, and U.S. Marshals surrounded the house where he'd barricade himself inside. This wasn't going to be a peaceful surrender. During the standoff, Derek opened fire on the Marshals. One was shot in the arm. The situation escalated. Negotiators tried to make contact. Hours passed. The neighborhood was locked down. When authorities finally entered the house, they found Derek Rankins dead. The exact cause of his death hasn't been made completely clear to the public, but one thing is certain: he would never answer for what he did to Courtney in a courtroom. Now, let's talk about the weight this family was already carrying. Because Courtney's murder wasn't the first act of gun violence her loved ones had endured. Just 3 months earlier, in May 2024, Courtney's sister, Symmetria Edwards, was killed in a shooting. The family was shattered. They were still planning memorials, still crying at night, still trying to figure out how to keep living after losing someone they loved. It was around the same time that Derek Rankins was released from jail. Courtney made the difficult decision to end their relationship. She needed to focus on her children. She needed to heal. She needed space from him. Derek didn't take it well. And now, in a span of less than 4 months, Courtney's mother had buried 2 daughters, both taken by gun violence, both gone too soon. Think about that for a moment. 2 daughters, 2 funerals, 2 sets of memories that will never be made. But the cruelest part of this entire story, the 4 children Courtney left behind, 3 daughters and 1 son, who will grow up without their mother. They were inside the house that night. They didn't see what happened, but they heard it. Every shot, every terrible second. That's a sound they'll carry for the rest of their lives. Courtney's family held a celebration of life in her honor. They released purple balloons into the sky. They shared stories. They cried together. They tried to find some way to say goodbye to a woman who should still be here. A GoFundMe was set up to help support her children as they face a future without their mom. Because while the headlines fade and people move on to the next story, those kids still wake up every day in a world where their mother is gone. If you're watching this and it touched you in any way, consider sharing this video. Let Courtney's story reach someone who needs to hear it. And speaking of our community here, drop a comment and let me know what state or country you're watching from. I love seeing where all of you are tuning in from around the world. Now, I want to talk about what we can actually learn from this tragedy. Because this channel isn't just about telling stories. It's about understanding what went wrong and how we can recognize danger before it's too late. This case is about shame. It's about secrets. It's about what happens when someone values their hidden life more than another person's actual life. Derek Rankins made a choice. When Courtney exposed his secret relationships on Facebook, he didn't choose honesty. He didn't choose to walk away. He didn't choose accountability. He chose violence. And here's something people don't talk about enough. Leaving an unhealthy or controlling relationship is often the most dangerous time for victims of domestic violence. The moment someone decides they're done, the moment they take back control of their own narrative, that's when abusers feel they're losing power. And some of them will do anything to take that power back. Courtney spoke her truth. She shared what she discovered about Derek's double life. And he killed her for it. This isn't just about one man's secret. It's about a culture of shame that makes people feel like exposure is worse than murder. It's about the fear of judgment being stronger than the fear of consequences. It's about pride and control turning deadly. If you're in a relationship where you feel controlled, where you're afraid to speak up, where leaving feels dangerous, please reach out for help. There are organizations, hotlines, and people who will believe you and protect you. You don't have to face it alone. And if you know someone who might be in danger, don't ignore the signs. Controlling behavior, threats, isolation, explosive anger when questioned. These things matter. Your awareness could save someone's life. Courtney Reese deserved better. Her children deserve to grow up with their mother. Her family deserved to heal from losing Symmetria without losing Courtney too. She was more than a headline, more than a Ring camera video, more than a Facebook post. She was a daughter, a sister, a mother of 4. She had a laugh that filled rooms. She had dreams for her children. She had a whole life ahead of her. And one man's inability to face himself took all of that away. Before we go, I need you to do something. If this story made you think, if it opened your eyes to something you hadn't considered before, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. We tell the stories that need to be told, the cases that demand attention, the voices that deserve to be heard. And if you know someone in a dangerous situation, don't wait. Speak up, check in, offer help. Your voice, your action, your willingness to get involved, it could be the difference between life and death. Courtney's story doesn't end here. It lives on in her children, in the people who loved her, in everyone who hears what happened and decides to do better, to be more aware, to protect those who need protecting. Rest in power, Courtney Reese. Your story will not be forgotten. Your life mattered, and we'll make sure the world knows it. To everyone watching, stay safe. Look out for each other, and I'll see you in the next one.